Studio One has a macro toolbar that's a special control panel that gives you easy access to often used functions and also to custom command combinations. And they're grouped in pages of related commands. Now, we can get to them a few different ways. We have the view menu here, and we have additional views, and we have macros for the arrangement, note editor, or the audio editor. So I'll click it here, and it reveals an extra panel here. Well, we can also get to it from this dedicated button, macros for the arrangement view. And if we're in, for example, I'll double click here, the audio editor, we have a dedicated button here for the macros for the audio editor. And if we're looking at MIDI, like this one, we again have a dedicated button over here to hide or reveal the editor in that window. So let's close this for a moment and take a look over here. So these are independent toolbars for the arrangement view, music editor, and the audio editor. Now we have this button over here that allows us to detach it, and there it's jumped to the middle where we can freely reposition it, and we can right click and choose a vertical orientation versus a horizontal. So we do that simply by toggling vertical on or off. Now, if we right click, we'll see that we have different pages for different functions, and these are just defaults, but we can customize them and set up our own, of course. We can create a new group. These are the groups existing, new page, remove the page, import, export, and so on. So here we have another way to jump between the different functions that are related. And I'll go to global for the moment. And we have a gear menu here that allows us to reset and also open the macro organizer. Now I'm just going to close that for a moment and just show you that we can get to it also from under the Studio One menu where we go macro organizer. And there it is. So this is where we manage things. Now, if we go to the edit view, this is where we can customize things. Now, on the left is the command list, which lists all the available commands in Studio One. And on the right are the macro title, group, and the description, and then it lists the commands. I'm going to hit cancel for a moment, and I'll select another one. Let's say loop selection, and hit edit. And you'll see a series of commands, and they're executed in the order they're listed. So the one function is going to select, then enable the loop for that area, and then start playback all with one command. I'm going to close this up for a moment, and let's go back to the main macro toolbar. If we go to the action menu here, we'll see a list of all these actions, and they're categorized in groups, and simply clicking on any of these will execute the function. Go to new layer. I just created a new layer for this synth bass track. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo. And if you click in the name field, you'll see names for all the macros that have been assigned, but you can easily rename them by clicking this Edit Names button. We get a simple text box, and we can rename any of these and then close it and click back into Studio One, and you're done. So I'm going to close that for a moment. And then if I open this here, it's going to remember that orientation, but I'm going to do that to reattach it here. So that's a little introduction to macros. We have the action menu with everything we can rename, and then we have these buttons that we can use to execute these tasks. I'm going to end off here, and then the next video we'll continue and look at how to customize these macros.